Now, let me just stay here a bit. A lot of people have engaged. This is where sometimes they have a problem. So they'll be like, oh, Mr. Dodi, I exported to this country and I met a very high duty. And I asked them the question, did you check if the product was in their liberalized list? Often the answer is no. So check with their customs, check with their with your buyer, whoever is buying from you. Ask them to do that homework for you, and you will see that a lot of that has also been published. If you go to the e-tariff book of the AfCFTA, you will see for each country that has ratified the AfCFTA, they are excluded list. Now, sometimes you will notice that when you go to the excluded, the tariff schedules, often the category B's and C's may not be listed. It may not be listed. So if you search for a specific country and you cannot find your product in their tariff schedule, I would say that you can assume that it's either in their B or C, which means that it is not yet ready or up for liberalization. So what is liberalized is often what is published in the category A, the 90%. Okay, so we've been through this, so you can register as an exporter, an AfCFTA exporter, using icons, using a customs agent, or doing it manually. Now, it is important that after you've done the registration, you do the FDA registration as well. I've mentioned that already, so apply to FDA to get it registered. I would also advise that whatever institution regulates your product from your country of export, make sure that you have also satisfied the requirements of the similar organization in the destination country. So let's say I want to export Ghanaian chocolate products to an AfCFTA state party, and the chocolate product from Ghana is regulated by, let's say, FDA. So I have to have gotten my FDA registration even before, as a product I make for public consumption. Any product that is meant for public consumption, commercial consumption, must be registered with the FDA of Ghana. So I would have done that before I even start my export journey, my production journey. Now, as I intend to export this product, I would advise you to make sure that the product is equally registered with the FDA of, let's say, the destination country. So if it's Kenya, I'm sure it's the Kenya Standards Bureau. So make sure that Kenya Standards Bureau has already registered and pre-approved your product. One big mistake some people make is that once the exporting country's regulator has approved it, they assume that the product will also be able to, the product will automatically be sold in the destination country. No. You do it for Ghana, you do it in Kenya. Similarly, if you were targeting the UK, for example, and you have a product, if you register it here, it must be equally registered in the destination country. So there are several regulatory requirements that you must meet. So FDA is one of them. But these are the permits you need, which I mentioned before. You must have already done your homework in terms of getting prepared. So for food and beverage products prepackaged, you need an FDA permit, which is something you get way before you export. For fruits and vegetables, you need a phytosanitary certificate from the Plant Protection and Regulatory Services Directorate and FDA as well. If it's frozen meat, fish or seafood, you need FDA permits. If it's palm oil, you need FDA permit. If it's cosmetics and household chemicals, you need FDA permits. If it's cocoa, coffee, shea, and cashew, you need Cocoa Board registration and approval, as well as Tree Crop Development Authority approval as well. You must be registered with the Tree Crop Development Authority of Ghana. Now, having done all your permits and you are good to go, the next thing you have to think about is your logistics and your shipping. So now you have to determine but the means by which your products would be would go to your country of destination. So I would want to advise, it's not mandatory, but I want to advise that as a business, you engage the services of a professional freight forwarder, customs agent to assist you in your exporting business. And here I use the word professional. So I advise you can contact the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders or the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, so GIFF for the freight forwarders, and the QBAG, Customs Brokers Association of Ghana. You go to their website, you can peruse their membership list and make a determination. Of course, do your due diligence. You can ask for past experiences of the freight forwarder. You can ask for references from their previous customers, and then you can engage them. It will help you in your exporting business. The difference between a freight forwarder and a customs broker, even though recently and these days they are all interlinked, is that the freight forwarder helps you with your logistics and packaging decisions. The customs broker helps you with negotiating and understanding applicable tariffs and duties that you would pay should you do the export. But these days, of course, it's become an intersected industry. So after you've got your freight forwarder or shipping line or your air cargo service, you have to prepare your documents. So your commercial invoice, which is the invoice you would typically provide to your importer, which details the product type, your HS code, the weight, the destination, the volume, in what packaging it is in, and all of that. It will be on your commercial invoice, and the value per unit, and the value for the importer. One of the things sometimes people omit is that this is also the same document that will be used for customs valuation. Customs valuation based on the first principle, which is the principle using the transaction value. This is what it will be based on. So make sure it is consistent throughout your documentation. Your packaging list, or your packing list, which also specifies the items you are exporting, the packaging, the details of the shipment, who the exporter, the consignee, the consignor, all of that would be indicated. And then, of course, once you have your certificate of origin attached, so you have your customs declaration, you have your packaging list, your certificate of origin, you can present this for customs clearance, and you add your bill of lading or your airway bill, depending on which form it is going, or your way bill, and then you should be able to put that through to the customs. So I think I've mentioned this already, the customs broker and the freight forwarder, the advantage. So in terms of customs clearance, what is important to know is that in Ghana we have two large categories of products that we call non-traditional exports and traditional exports. So the non-traditional exports are defined in the Import and Export Act, I think, of 1991. So you go there, you see that these are the products which are determined as traditional exports. Anything outside of that can be categorized as non-traditional exports. And so you should be able to use the right form to complete for customs clearance. So if you're doing a traditional export like cocoa beans, like minerals, maybe gold and things like that, there's a form to fill which is clearly stated here. If you're doing non-traditional exports, of course you need to complete the Ghana export form, you make your customs declaration, and then you present that to customs for examination. Depending on the product, again, the customs clearance may not only be done by customs. So at the point of customs clearance, there could be other state agencies, the Food and Drugs Authority, the Narcotics Control Board, or not Narcotics Control Authority, and a group of other agencies would want to conduct an inspection before the goods are sealed for export. So we've mentioned the products you need, the documents you need to be able to export.